yours.
Amanda Ferguel.
Yes, ma'am.
Amanda Ferguel.
Yes.
It just rolls off the tongue.
It does. That's what I've been told my whole life.
A
That
very
it's just the easiest
easy
name. In the
name.
world to
I
say.
bet you put it on your Starbucks cup when they ask you what your
I
name
actually
is.
prefer if they call me by my last name so that they really have to work hard to earn that like $3 tip.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, let's just get straight into tip culture.
Okay.
Yeah, are you into that? Flipping around the eye. Do you see like on TikTok and it's like, why are we tipping all the time, everyone? Like, and by the way, I have to say, I grew up as a server. I've been working in restaurants since I was 14.
Yeah.
I've been a manager of restaurants. I've been bartending.
And I too. I have been I was a server for years. I waitressed through all my jobs have had a waitressing background in the beginning, like in the olden days.
The olden days.
You know, I definitely worked one of the jobs I had through college. I worked a lot of serving. However, it's getting a bit intense.
It's gone too far.
It's a bit intense. Like literally it's, you smiled my general direction. I'm going to need a $2 tip. Oh, seriously? And you know, it's always confusing too, because when I travel internationally, it's like this, is this a tipping culture? Like do I tip? Like what is the tip? Like, am I going to just a tip, see how it feels? Like
just
it's really
the tip.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I haven't heard that in a while.
I know. Well, I try to bring it back.
I like that. I mean, I don't like just the tip, but
does anybody? But no, the tipping culture, I love to be a generous tipper, and it's unreal. Like now my Starbucks order is like $15 for a drink because I have to add the tip on. And you're like,
yeah, I agree. And for a while I felt like bad saying that out loud or tipping lower than I would. Mm-hmm. I still do because I just don't know what to do. I cannot press no or
Can? They're going to ask you a question. Please, really?
Yeah, answer the 2 questions and sign. It's like, but I do. I think it's gone too far. That's my official thought.
I think it's gone too far as well. I mean, obviously, there's still an occasion to tip in some, obviously, if I'm not going to not tip my server. But there was a restaurant, I don't remember, I think it was in California, but they had a sign out that was saying, if you don't tip 22% or more, that we're not going to serve you. I'm like, 22%?
Wait, first of all, not welcome. Like, that's like so
unbelievable.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And it made me, like, viscerally, I had a reaction to somebody telling me I must do anything. I'm obviously immediately going to have a reaction. If you tell me to do anything, I'm going to want to do the opposite. And to tell your customers that you refuse to serve them if they aren't going to if they're not going to give you a 22% tip, like, well, can we preface that by you're going to give me 22% worth of service?
Right.
Like, what is this? I mean, I didn't really dive far enough in because it was obviously not a restaurant I'm ever going to go to. Just based on that sign alone, I would know.
Giving California a bad rap.
I had to try so hard on that.
No, I'm from California.
I lived in California, but it doesn't mean that California doesn't need to get its shit together.
Every state does.
Facts.
Yeah, and we could really derail the podcast episode if we want to go down that route, but we won't. I do have to call myself out just to start off with.
Please do.
I met you in person at Her Opinion's first 1-year anniversary party. Right around Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was like meeting you, talking to you, hearing of you for the first time. And you were like, I emailed you and you never responded.
I did. I was like, that's cool. She just thinks she's cooler than me. That's fine. I'm okay not being cool enough.
So not the case. When you said that, I was like, first of all, because like even in my day job for sales, like I respond to every email. Like I'm really good about it. And so absolutely just like vagina, just butt puckered, clenched, you know, like
I'm glad that I had that effect on you. I try to have that effect on people at parties, just like the clench effect instantly, if I can.
Stomach drop, just like, oh no, who are you? What did I do? So I do apologize. And then we were just catching up before we started and we were talking about, I'm like, I remember your email now. I remember exactly your email. I don't remember if I responded or not. Obviously I didn't.
Yeah. But well, after that party, I was like, oh my God, did I not hit send? Because it wouldn't be the first time I had written an email in my head.
Or gets caught in your outbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time I had accidentally thought that I had called or texted somebody and then not followed through with it. So I went back and I was like going back in my emails like, oh shit, like, is the problem me? Am I the asshole?
No, it was me.
And then no, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I sent it. So now I feel validated knowing that I did send it and then I just wasn't cool enough, and that's fine.
So I don't think it's not that you weren't cool enough. I do think I was still recording in my home studio. So I was really still focused on people that I like knew in person or people that came recommended, like strangers in my home, one. And two, I think it might have been around the time of my live show or something where I was just like, I'll get to that later. And
it was probably because I think that I first saw I think you dropped into my feed right around the time of your 100th episode.
Okay.
So I imagine it would have been hard.
So, but you're here now.
I am.
And you're very cool. My voice is cracking. You're so cool.
It's like I still
you have that. You have that effect.
People.
Yeah.
The pucker and the voice cracking. I feel like now it's like a date.
Yeah, a little
Good.
bit.
Excellent.
And we are going to get into dating. But first, you have a podcast.
I do.
And a co-host. What's her name?
Lynn Howard. She's
okay.
Awesome.
And the podcast is called The Pursuit of Badassery.
Yes.
And you also have 2 books down by my feet if you're watching on YouTube. The Pursuit of Badassery and then the sales version.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that. How cool you're an author, by the way.
Thank you. I am cool.
Yeah.
See, I'm cool enough to be on
You're
your show.
badass.
I am badass. So The Pursuit of Badassery came about with my co-host and co-author. She and I have known each other for a little over a decade. We actually we met in Hawaii. Randomly enough. So she and I met in Hawaii.
Not like at the pool getting a drink.
No.
Okay.
At a networking. Cool. She was from Big Island. I was from Maui, and we met at a networking event. And you know, I was warned against her. Somebody told me that she was super scary and that I should be careful because she was super scary. And then somebody had told her basically the same thing about me.
No way.
Because we're very scary people. So
yeah,
apparently.
I'm frightened. That's why Kari, the producer,
that's why you're
here.
puckering and the cracking. I get it.
Yeah.
So super scary, and we hit it off like gangbusters from the second we met. And I'm like, this is my people.
Love that.
See you. And we had been talking about writing a book and doing all these things for years. And then we just finally decided to get out of our own way and stop, saying we were going to do something and then not doing it, not following through. So then we just decided to write it. One day we came up with the title, and now it's a series of books. We actually have quite a few that are on the way, but we didn't feel right publishing them all in like the span of 5 days.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. Take your time.
We're generally terrified of us at that point because we had 2 books, then we had a podcast, and then we're like, now we have an award, and now we have this, and let's do another book. And like,
oh, what's the award?
We had both of our books were award winning, so they were international book awards.
Bestsellers?
Yeah. Well, they were bestsellers, Amazon bestsellers, both of them, but then they also got the International Book Award for one for sales and one for business entrepreneurship.
Amazing. Have you always been in business entrepreneurship style? I know you said you worked in restaurants. But...
Yeah. So I have a very eclectic, we'll call it, background. I have been an entrepreneur for 25 years.
Okay.
Actually over 25 years now, which is shocking because I know I am only 22.
You're just, so young.
It's amazing.
Just graduating college.
Yeah, just graduated college yesterday. And so now I'm yes, but international, I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years and owned multiple businesses, sold businesses in multiple states and I guess now countries. So it kind of spiraled out basically, and I've had a very large range of businesses.
I was going to ask any focus area?
How
did it start and then how did it expand?
Oh, that's tricky. So I first started my first LLC. I started in college, and it was a music management company where I would basically it came from a need. So my college was an all-women's university. I went to a finishing school, ironically enough, and there was no entertainment.
Is a finishing school like a prep school?
It was originally. Its original origins was like a prep to be married. It was a finishing school. It was all women's. It was like here's your fork here, like here's how you dance. Obviously, it is not that. I graduated. It's now progressed into a much more liberal arts college, etc. But its original roots.
Okay.
They don't like to talk about that. but originally.
Never forget where you came from, though.
No, I mean, but I was an all-women's school, and I actually went to that women's university because I didn't have any female friends at the time. And I was like, dude, I am graduating high school. I don't like women. I should go to a women's school so that I like women again. Yeah, that was actually my motivation because, again, you tell me I don't like something, I'm going to do the opposite of it. So I'm like, I don't like women. I'm going to go to a women's school and figure shit out. So I guess I should have asked how much I'm allowed to curse because
you can curse.
It's
Go ahead.
later in the day. As a wine,
you're good.
Fan. So I started this media company, this music management company, and I would book universities to come and play music at us, and I would take a commission. So I would book out all the local universities and colleges, and I was just like an agent, a music agent, and I would just all these little bands who would come through who weren't anybody. A lot of them some of them actually became bands, and it's kind of funny looking back. I'm like, oh look, Hoops Tank. I remember when you played at Virginia. Yeah. Yeah. I actually got hit in the head with a shoe at a Hoops Tank concert that I was like managing at a creepy bar in Virginia Beach.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So like some of them actually became, and most of them were not anything.
Sorry to them. Sorry to those bands.
Yeah. I mean, nothing against them. They were great and it was fun, but so I just took a commission. And so that was
what a great idea.
Yeah, it was awesome. I worked through college. So I had 4 different jobs in college and then I started that business. That was my first business, but it wasn't like a full-time gig. And then got out of college. I was a television producer, worked with ESPN, VH1, like Travel Channel, and I worked at a travel channel in Hawaii. And then I was there for years. And then I started, while I was working that, I started a business with a fitness studio and started a pole dancing and aerial acrobatic company. And then I was an aerial acrobat. I pole dancing, taught lap dancing. Like that's what I did for years. But even, like nobody knew. It was so taboo back then that like I didn't even give up my address. It was not, nobody talked about it. It was Amanda's moonlighting. Actually, how my family found out was CNN did an interview on me for talking. An interview was about moonlighting, and they were like, "Oh, like television producer by day, stripper by night." It was very Flashdance. I was not actually a stripper, but it was this whole like expose article. And
entertainer by night.
And then my family found it through a news, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then it came out that I'd owned a pole dance studio for like 5 years at that point before anybody in my family knew. And then it just kind of spiraled, and I had a commercial fishing business, and then I was like had a media management company and like PR company, and it just like, and then I just started like psychotically buying businesses and flipping them and selling them, and then I love it. I love entrepreneurship. I think my true passion is just business itself. Doesn't matter the business. I love it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Love it.
That is so cool. Kind of just like, I'm just like flabbergasted. Like, how did you ever, I'm just trying to think of how you ever thought of, yeah, I could do a commercial fishing business. I could do pole dancing business.
Was a weird one. But it was just more based on location. So I was in Hawaii. There was a need. You buy a boat, you get a crew, like here you go.
And did you go to school for business?
Oh, no. No. Actually, I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I really should have taken a business course or two. I did not. I thought about getting my MBA at this point. I'm like, oh, I should go back. COVID, we all had that moment where like, oh, I should go back to school.
You either bake sourdough or
sourdough or go back to school. So I did not do either of those, but I talked myself out of giving my MBA because honestly, at this point,
you don't need it.
Even my friends who have MBAs were on the phone. What about this? Like, tell me about how do you figure this out? And I'm like, oh, well. There's no better school than doing it. I'm not to say that I wouldn't learn something from an MBA program.
Yeah, of course.
Amazing. But at this point, I'm like, it would just be for the letters.
Would that time in the MBA program be better?
How much money could I make?
Valuable doing something?
Yeah. If I'm $100,000 for something, I could make like 7 businesses at that point. I could quadruple that money. Well, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Had no idea. Wait, I want to go back to, why didn't you like women? You had no friends and no women friends in high school? Girlfriends?
I had no friends. I was like, first of all, in everybody's defense who ever met me let's say 2004, so a while ago, I was not a nice person. I was, I mean, I will totally
Let's get into it.
100% own it.
Okay.
I moved around a lot as a kid. So by the time I moved to Hawaii, which was in 2005, that was my 21st move. And that was, I was what, 21
from a military family?
No, actually, not a military family. It seems like it, but no, not a military family. But we just moved constantly, like almost like mafia style. Like,
were you homeless?
Either that or witness protection. No, we were neither of those things. We just moved a lot. My father was a very successful physician. He traveled at some point. We were the personal physician for an NFL family, and so we would travel with the NFL team and like. We just moved a lot. We moved. I mean, I went to like 6 different first grades. It was ridiculous. Okay. So we moved a lot. So in moving, we all find ways to adapt. My way to adapt was that I was going to, let's say, make up, like pathologically make up scenarios because I'm like, I'm never going to see these people again. Like, I'm never going to see any of you again. So I would make up the wildest, most ridiculous backstories every time we'd move. Because I'm like, yeah, my family is like Russian intelligence, or like, yeah, I have a rabbit in my jacket. Like I remember that one pretty specifically. I put the rabbit up. I don't know why I would tell people I had rabbit in my jacket. Can't tell you why. But I was like a pathological liar until like the 8. Not even understanding that I'm a terrible liar. If anybody who knows me, I'm the worst liar. I'm terrible at it.
But these people didn't know you and they weren't going to continue to know you.
And I was like 7, and like every 7-year-old lies out their ass anyway. So
yeah.
Terrible liar. So for the years, I never bothered to get to know anybody because I'm like, I'm just going to move. I don't care. I don't like you enough. And then I did a lot of medical mission work for a while with my family. And it was, I had like a very, like, so it's like a profound moment in my life, realizing how petty everything was. And I just kind of, instead of turning like more religious, I just got more bitter about it. I'm like, everybody here has like their 3rd car and they don't understand. Like kids in Honduras have like lice in their ears, and like this kid got amputated. And I just was like so disillusioned with how things
just kind of hated the human
I just
race.
Hate people. I just hated people in general. And I just didn't want to deal with the BS. And then because I moved schools so often, I constantly would have like, oh, this course isn't allowed in this state. And then I have to retake things. And one of my biggest pet peeves is having to like repeat myself, redo something, redo my work. It drives me up the freaking wall. And so I would have to do that all through high school, all through middle school, just repeating things like, oh, and I have to read the same book again. Now I have to take PE again because the PE in Illinois isn't the same as the PE in Texas, and PE in Colorado isn't.
Which, so stupid.
It was the dumbest thing ever.
Okay.
And so I felt like just bitter and angry, and everybody was dumb, and they all wanted to like just have sex and be peppy, and I was not that. I was just like dark, like my soul, and just couldn't do it. And so in everybody's defense, I was also just very much like, I don't do people. So I've always been an introvert, and I just was not into people, and I didn't want to play the games, and everybody seemed dumb, and some of them were. And I just, and I skipped a lot of school. I just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And
were you like totally emoed out? Need to know.
Oh, no. That would never have been allowed in my family. No.
Okay.
I was like goody two-shoe, 4.444 GPA, AP classes, straight A everything, straight-laced, like clean as a whistle, khakis, and like button-up shirt, like clean as a fucking whistle. Like, no. Like,
okay.
That would not, like, my family would very, very conservative, very like,
it would have been a red flag.
Oh yeah. Like, there was no like emotional expression. No, that's not.
Okay. And then you were the one who chose to go to finishing school?
It wasn't finishing school, but I joke about it. So it wasn't at that point, it wasn't a finishing school, but like the whole time I was there. So the like, you know how each college has a little motto, like a rival school, and they rise each other. So there was a neighboring all-women's university, like 45 minutes down the road. They're like, oh, that school's to bed, but we're to wed. Like, yeah, people are gonna come to our school because they're gonna marry us, but those are those are the sluts. Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. But anyway, long story even longer. I didn't like women because all the women I dealt with were super petty, really into fashion and makeup, and I was just like tomboy, not cool. not cool. You know, I did a little bit of theater, a little bit of like speech and debate, like the things that I thought were going to get me into college and get me scholarships. And I didn't really connect. Everything was more of a means to an end. I didn't want to form connections because I knew all those connections were superficial anyway. And because I went to 3 different high schools, I didn't care about any of those people. I knew I wasn't going to, again, I'm not going to be around. So I didn't feel the need to form any connections. There's still some people I don't hate them. It's just we were like not BFFs. It was like, oh, we're going to continue.
Were you closer? Did you align or feel close to the boys at all or no?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Just
no,
people. They were just, yeah, no.
All right. You were just on a different trajectory.
I was. There, you know, the guys that the guys were just not. They were. I tried to be nice to them for a second. I'm like, no. I mean, they're very nice people. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Nice
I just meant like because we were so strongly saying you were not for women, but I was just wondering, did you find yourself getting along better
ultimately,
with
I was just way angry, way introverted, didn't know how to be popular, wasn't sure I wanted to be popular because that was the thing. Like, you know, high school's the worst. Middle school's the worst.
I mean,
like you have to be in the popular group, but you can't be too popular. You can't be this. Everybody has a little clique in the little lunchroom.
Terrible.
Like, I'd just rather skip school. I mean, I skipped so much school, and not to like, I want to like the Fifth Amendment. All I can think is the Fifth Amendment. I don't want to incriminate myself here, but I forged every absent note. At one point, my teachers were like, "I'm really worried about you, man. You caught malaria last time you were in Honduras." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got to go to the doctor again."
Not your pathological lies.
The whole school thought I had malaria because I had a written note from my
the
father.
Doctor signed. Dr. Father.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, I signed it off." No, I mean, I missed so much school that I almost didn't graduate, even with a 4.4 average. They're like, "You haven't been here enough." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Oh my God. Have your parents now found out?
Yes, actually, I'm still alive because my mother found out, not my father. My mother got a call from the school. They were like, "We're really concerned. She's missed a lot of stuff. Is this contagious?" Like they went, the whole thing, like she's missed a lot of school. She's been really sick, always for like the same 3 classes. I don't know how you always have a doctor's appointment on the same 3 classes. Gee. And my mom was like, "Oh yeah, she's okay. She's gonna be. She's shouldn't be a problem.
She'll be there tomorrow."
Yeah, and then, yeah, but I wasn't even like skipping school to be cool. I wasn't like doing drugs in the parking lot. No, I was like at the library because I just didn't want to be in that class. I was not cool. Not cool.
That's
not cool.
Both lame and crazy.
Yeah, I was super lame.
Wow.
What can I say?
Okay, so all that to bring you to
yes,
AF Consulting.
Yes.
As well as the pursuit of badassery.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me more about that? And do I need your help?
Well, yes. Everybody.
I have a business.
Yes. So AF Consulting team came about. It's one of my businesses. So it's a consulting firm. So I work with businesses, small businesses, to help you get shit done, get paid, get more done in your day with less effort. So really it's about maximizing, because I own multiple businesses. I homeschool my kid. I've got a small special needs kid at home. Like I don't have time to deal with stuff. So I want to teach other people how you don't have to be that, 7/24, 365. It doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to be working every single moment of your life in order to pull a profitable business and live the way you want to live. Because I think there's this narrative that owning a small business is going to be so amazing and you have all this freedom. And then people get to a small business and it's like, oh shit, there's a lot of work and I don't know how to do anything. I don't have any systems. And I have passion for something, but no business sense. And I love business. Like my passion is the business side of things, like creating systems for things to make things go faster, smoother, more profitable, make multiple income streams, travel, work wherever. That's my jam. I want people to have the freedom that they thought they were going to have in their small business. I want them to actually have it and to like stop creating problems that aren't really there.
Wow. So you take on individual or small businesses?
Mostly. So I do some like corporate consulting work, mostly internationally, but my favorites are the smaller businesses, solopreneurs and small businesses with less than 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. They're usually the ones who need it the most. Who are
Wait, you hated people and now you love people.
no. Well, yeah.
No, you said that. Those are your words.
I don't like all people. I like some people. I like the people who pay me.
Yeah.
No, that's
for sure.
It is true, but I it's true, but not true. I love business, and I love helping business owners love their own business. I think there's so much to be gained from owning your own business and doing your own stuff. I mean, if you have that passion to start a business, and that passion is something that the world needs, like regardless of what that passion is, if you have that drive to do something, then that tells me that that's what you're supposed to do with your life. That's what you're supposed to be sharing with the world. And it just really sucks when you get down to brass tacks and you don't have any clue how to share it. You don't have any clue how to teach the world about it. You don't know, shit from Shinola, and yet you're trying to make other people love it as much as you do, and it's really, really freaking hard.
I do feel like you're talking at me.
Yeah, I am.
Not to me. Like, because I'm identifying with what you're saying.
I'm actually trying to speak to your soul directly.
No, you are.
I need you to
You've hit it. Yeah. Whew, okay.
It's hard. It really, I mean, people.
It's so hard.
You love what you love. You know what you know. And you don't know what you don't know. And I'm here to fill in the don't know stuff, because there's a lot of ridiculousness, and there's a lot of people spending so much money on things they don't need to be spending money on, and they're losing money because they don't know about the tax implications, and they're not even using the correct operating system, or they're not the right entity. They haven't even filed correctly they don't even have the correct business entity. So like weeding that out and actually helping them like make their money make money. It's awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Hit me up.
I might need to.
Free consultations.
Yeah. Free consultations. Yeah. Maybe we can get on a call.
Yeah.
Or a meeting.
Anytime.
Because I need help. Am I too small? I'm just one person plus studio.
No.
Okay.
Solopreneurs are some of my favorites, because you don't have to, all the change comes from you, and it's not like you have to worry about Nancy down there and Karen over here trying to get on board too. It's just you. And so it's actually easier, because then you can scale your business. And because solopreneurs, I mean, no offense, but it's the worst of you, because it's literally your marketing, you're the advertising, you're the PR person, you're doing in the background, doing all the stuff. And it's hard to grow and scale if it's all you. And eventually, if you want to make more money, I mean, it's not like you have to make it, but eventually, if you want to leave a legacy, you have to grow, you have to scale. And if you're only one person, it's pretty freaking hard to duplicate yourself.
Yeah. Definitely.
So you've got to find another way to do it, or make concessions, or create alternate streams of income, so it doesn't have to be you 24/7.
Okay.
And like bags under your eyes, and like,
yeah.
what day is it?
Yeah. I'm taking small steps. I used to hate asking for help, and I was just going to do it all on my own. And
of course.
I've grown a lot.
I was that same way. I was a solopreneur for a while. I did the same thing. No, asking for help is a weakness. I don't want them to know that I don't know.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Shocker. Yeah. That was me
Tough.
for years.
Okay.
And I got a coach, changed everything. Just, I mean, and again, you don't know what you don't know. So even if your business is doing well, it's not to say that you can't already be doing well in business, because even I have a coach. Like, I'm trying to get to 7 or 8 figures. I need someone who's been there too. So I'm going to try to get up to where they are. I need to do something different. If you want different results, you got to do something differently. So
yeah,
when it comes to small business, the same thing. Like, even if you're doing well, are you doing as well as you want? If you're talking to me, probably not. Or
mic drop. Yeah. Okay.
Would throw that over, but
no, don't do it. Okay, so you have a small special needs child at home. How old?
He's 6.
Okay, and you're a single mom. Okay.
Solo parent. What?
How's that?
Let me take a drink.
Let's take a drink.
It's awesome and shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's all parenthood, quite frankly. The best part about it is that because I own my businesses, because I homeschool, I do what I want. we want to spend a month in Hawaii. Okay, we do. Actually, we usually spend a couple months a year in Hawaii. I own a couple businesses there. And do I want to take him? And I think this last year, we were on vacation for 169 days of the year. We just do what we want. And I think that's something I would never be able to do if he were in a traditional school setting, or if I had a partner, a traditional partner, or if I had a traditional job. When he was born, while I was pregnant, I was working. I had a couple of different fitness studios at the time, and I was teaching class. I did burpees the day he was born. Just like, I'm going to teach this class. I'm going to teach this boot camp. Let's do some burpees. No. What was I thinking? He was, I actually joke about, it's surprising that he even exists, because when I didn't know I was pregnant, I was about a month in, and I took this really bad aerial fall because I was an aerialist. And so I took this really bad fall, and I landed flat on my stomach. And I'm like, oh man, that really hurt. And I'm like, how did he survive that? How did he live through like a big fall? It was a mat, but still, like, I had a fall, and it was fine. I went that whole month. I drank a ridiculous amount. I went scuba diving. I went cliff diving. I was parasailing. I ate sushi. I ate all the soft cheeses, all things you're not supposed to do when you're pregnant. I took a huge fall. Like, let's do all these things. Wow. And then I was like, oops, sorry about that, kid. Hope you're okay.
Sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the partner has never been?
He was never interested. He knew about it. He just wasn't interested in being a part of it. So I wasn't going to.
I don't want someone around who doesn't want to be around, kind of thing.
And honestly, at this point, it would have been more of a hindrance. And considering my style of things, I don't want somebody telling me what they think should be done with the kid.
Yeah.
When they are there like every 5 seconds, or very, very rarely, if they're only occasionally there. It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Seems like you've got your situation kind of down.
Kind of like a mama natrix scenario where I just do what I want.
Yeah. And homeschooling. Obviously you seem very intelligent, but like, do you intend to do that for?
That's a popular question.
Seems
I think it's it's hard. It's hard.
Hard right now because of the age, right?
Yes.
But then it's going to get harder with like curriculum.
Yes. Well, yes. And yeah, I don't want to go back to calculus. I don't even think I remember imaginary numbers enough to teach it to him. However, at that point, I would hire out private tutors for the things I didn't know. So, I've got multiple degrees, so I'm sure I could catch him up to some things. And at that point, if he's interested in something that's more hyper-focused, because even now he's got a lot of hyper-focused things that he's super crazy, ridiculously into, that I had to learn about. I'm like, oh crap, now I have to learn what a hemotoxin is. Great.
What's a hemotoxin?
He's all into snakes. He's super into snakes. Thanks, Texas.
Okay.
So he's into snakes. So hemotoxic is when the toxin deals with your blood. So it poisons your blood when you get bitten. So I know lots of things. We've caught many snakes in our house, and just little snakes everywhere. It's terrifying, horrible. It's actually one of my biggest fears. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to hyper focus on that, Mom, the thing you hate the most. And that's one thing I'm going to be really excited with.
Oh, wait, I think, is this coming back around to?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, sorry. Did you say that if somebody tells you no, or something that you hate?
Oh, yeah. I'm very aware of the dramatic irony of the scenario. But for sure, he's chosen to hyperfixate on the things that terrify me the most and irritate me the most. And so that's what I've had to learn. So I know a shocking amount about snakes in general, amphibians and reptiles in general, dinosaurs, the normal things.
Okay.
Trucks, you're driving down, they're like, oh, look, there's a skid steer. Actually, Mom, that's a compact track loader. So I'm like, actually.
Wow.
Actually, I'm going to drive off the road. How about that?
Okay.
So a little bit too smart for his britches in some places, and then just, so ups and downs, but honestly, it's so much easier. And I had considered putting him in school. He was in school for a small amount, and I pulled him out. And, I thought about taking him back in after that. I was like, okay, I pulled him out. I homeschooled for 6 months, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Let me call another school and see if I can put him back in. But then as soon as they told me that I was going to get like a CPS call if I took him out of school more than X amount of days, I'm like, nope. That was a big deciding factor because I travel for work. So if I'm out of town, like, who am I leaving him with?
Yeah.
There's no additional parent, so I'm not going to leave him with a nanny, leave him with my parents.
Right.
No, not for that long. So it's just easier.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. Talk to me next year. I might completely change my
TBD.
mind.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's cool that you're open to
Yes.
other options, but that you enjoy it and it's working out. That's so,
It's a lot.
being a mom and then also being the educator. Like, do you feel like you have to draw a line there? Like, do you have to be like, I'm teacher now?
Oh, not yet. Eventually, I
Okay.
think it will have to be that. But now most of our education is based in play. So I think, like we're on a hike. Let's draw letters in the sand, like with a stick. And like, let's make these rocks into numbers and do math. Like, I think it's much more organic right now.
Mm-hmm.
Later, I think I'll have to draw a line on it or get real freaking creative. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see my tolerance.
And so
at that
how
point.
are you balancing being a mom,
Mm-hmm.
homeschooling your child, and being a badass at work?
Yeah, that's what I teach people.
Okay.
So it's a lot. My biggest thing, I'll say it all the time till I'm blue in the face, is prioritization. So like, you can do everything. I'm a firm believer. You can do absolutely anything you want and you can do all of it, but you can't do it all at the same time. You can't fight 16 foes at the same time. You can only do one at a time. So prioritization is where it's at. So what are the things that I need to get done? What are the things that I must get done? Those aren't always the same thing. And it's always a rule of threes for me and for my business partner as well. So, or one of my business partners, co-author. We believe very much that it's three things. So no matter what, every day you have three non-negotiables. So if you have a goal in mind, let's say you want to learn how to be an underwater basket weaver, and that's your goal. So what are the three things you're going to do every single day to get you closer to that? Maybe it's, practice holding your breath, or I guess the underwater basket weaver is a bit obscure. But the point is, what are the three things that you can do every single day that are non-negotiable? They don't have to be big. Maybe it's just sending an email to a podcaster to see if you can get on a podcast. Whatever it is you can do that leads you towards that goal. Yeah. And then everything else falls into place. And if you can get more done, awesome. But at least three, because life is lifing. Sometimes you have the best intentions. You wake up and you're like ready for the day, and then you get a flat tire. And so you can't always assume that everything is going to go your way. In fact, I would argue that I would assume everything's never going to go my way. Mm-hmm. So what are the three things I can do that I can control to go my way? And those like hyper tiny, small little focuses, those tiny little things that you do consistently can lead to big results and big goals and big changes if you do them. But it's like, if I try to tell myself that I'm going to do more than three, inevitably life's harder that next day. And then it's like, I'm just kidding. Just three's enough. And then again, if I get more done, awesome. Okay. But I'm at least doing three things that go towards that goal, whatever that goal is, whether it's business, professional, personal, whatever.
I find myself starting multiple tasks at one time. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing a lot on social media, of course. I forget what they called it, but like, stop doing that. And I like totally agree.
Multitasking?
Yeah, that's the obvious word, but there's another word that people are calling it, where I'm like, because I'll start doing
like the shiny ball squirrel syndrome.
Yes. I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. I'll respond there. And then I start, and then I get sidetracked over here and I start doing that. And I'm like, perfect. I'm really doing 4 different things right now, but like really it's waste, and I'm not doing any one thing.
Yeah, well, I think multitasking gets a bad rap, and actually, I wrote a whole chapter on it in the first book.
I'm so excited to read.
Yes, it's actually the thing I like about the book is that they're nonlinear, so it's really based on whatever subject you want to read. So you can read a chapter on perfectionism or a chapter on imposter syndrome, like whatever you're needing to work on, you read that chapter versus like I must read it from page 1 through page 200. Nobody's got time for that. Yeah, so it's like actionable bite-sized chunks. But in the first book, I write about multitasking because I'm a huge multitasker. I believe in multitasking, but when I actually broke it down, I'm not multitasking. I'm hyper-focusing on a lot in quick succession. So, and I know it's like, that means nothing, Amanda. You are a psychologist. It basically means like a multitasking in its truest form is like an important task and a not important task. So like, I can send emails while I'm
at the car wash.
Yes. Or like while I'm like doing a load of laundry, I can also do this. So because one is a more passive item and one is more that controls your attention. But when you're hyper focusing, you can do multiple things. But when you're hyper focusing, you're all in on that action. So if like I'm going to spend 15 minutes, it's kind of like time batching too. Like I'm going to spend 15 minutes doing my email. and nothing else is going to happen in that 15 minutes except email. I'm not going to look at anything else. I'm just going to hyper focus on that. When that's done, I'm going to instantly shift over. Okay, now I'm going to write blogs. I'm going to write blogs for 25 minutes. Now that's over. Okay, now I'm going to do fold my laundry for 5 minutes, and I'm going to hyper focus on that. So because they're happening so quickly next to each other, it seems like multitasking, but really it's more.
And you're saying that is a good or a positive.
Yes, because then you're really focusing on that one task and not letting yourself get shiny ball syndrome. Because it's like, oh, I'm only going to work on folding the laundry for 5 minutes, so I can concentrate for 5 minutes. And if something comes up into my head like, oh crap, I need to like add milk to the grocery list, you can write it down real quick, but don't leave what you're doing to go do that. Like I have like a little notebook next to me, like, okay, we're quick milk. So I remember to do it later, but I don't go do that thing yet because I have the same thing. It's an ADHD kind of like, oh, that reminded me that I wanted to read this book. Let me pull that book from the shelf. And like, oh, the shelf's dusty. Let me go get the duster. Oh, I see that the laundry hasn't been folded. Let me go change this load out. Oh, then I have some socks in the car. Let me go to the car. Oh, the car needs to be vacuumed.
Yes.
So this like chain of events that happens, which I absolutely am guilty of when I don't like have a plan. When I just am like rage cleaning, basically. So that happens. But when I'm really trying to get shit done, it's more about hyper focusing on a task. And I don't let myself, like I have to be disciplined enough. And usually I try to make it a super short amount of time. So like nobody in their right mind would have to leave within 5 minutes. Like I don't have to do anything for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you keep it really small and you can get a lot more done because it's almost like you're on panic mode. Like, oh shit, I only have 5 minutes. I got as many of these emails done and deleted as I can because I only have 5 minutes. So it's like, it almost gamifies your to-do list, for like lack of a better idea. Like you're just getting it done quicker. And then because you're doing all these things in rapid succession, like this 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, it has the same feeling as multitasking, but you're getting way more done in less time. Just take some practice.
Okay.
Got to shut off all the other crap in your brain.
I can just never shut up crap in my brain.
No, it's because we're women.
Like in yoga, even. Like I love yoga, by the way. Like I get a great workout, but like quiet my brain won't happen. Oh. Quiet my mind. Think of a word. Think of my intention. Not happening.
Yeah, I owned a yoga studio, and I would actively. I was like the worst of Savasana. I was not like a like, let's find our root chakra. No, I was like, if you think of your to-do list, like try to let it go. You know, it's okay if you don't buy Tide today. Like, move on. Because I think that's more realistic. I think there's so much going on in our brains at any given moment. It's unrealistic to think that everybody's going to be able to just to magically tune it out and like relax your eyelids, relax your hair follicles, and then bliss out into nothingness. I'm like, there's not enough alcohol in the world that would make me bliss out to that extent that I couldn't think about anything else.
It's impossible. But I really envy the people who can. Because like some people are like, oh no, I go to yoga. Like I go to yoga for the workout. Like I sweat my ass off. I'm sore. Some people go to yoga to quiet their mind and like refresh. And I'm like,
I went to an entire yoga retreat for like 4 straight days with the sole purpose of like, I got to learn how to meditate. Like everybody says it's so good. So I'm not going to do any of the yoga classes.
Everybody says it's so good.
Yeah. I'm going to be competitively great at meditating because I'm going to kick your ass at yoga. No, so I go with the whole intention. I didn't take a single class that I wanted to take. Instead, I took all the classes that I was shitty at. So like yin yoga, relax yoga, meditate, and sit up and just breathe and chant yoga. Like, let's do some ohms. And it was so hard. And I was like, by the end of the 4 days, I'm going to like, something's going to click. Like that runner's high people tell you about. It's bullshit. Nothing clicked. It's just not in my anatomy. It's not in my physiology. I tried. I mean, I was a yoga instructor for 20 years and I still.
Oh God, you have lived so many different lives.
I have.
Okay.
We haven't even gotten into all that stuff.
We're jumping around. Well, we might have to do another episode. Okay. Jumping around. Are you dating? Are you interested in dating?
I think it would be a loose interpretation of dating, but yes, I have been on dates. I wouldn't really say that I'm dating.
Okay. Are you on apps? Are you meeting people in person?
I was on apps.
Okay.
I struggled to get on apps originally because in a previous life, I was a ghostwriter for apps. And so I would pretend to be people. Yeah. So when everyone's like, oh, I'm not sure this is a real person, it isn't, because I was the person that you. No, it's real. Like, you shocked about it. I was like a 50-year-old gay cardiologist in Chicago at one point. Like, he was one of my favorite clients.
Wait.
Yeah. It's a real job.
Who are you being hired by? The people? The individuals?
Yes. Technically, you're hired by the company. So, like.
What company?
I'm not allowed
No. Don't. No, I'm saying.
I'm like, I'm legally.
No. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. I'm trying to make sure I understand. You were like date coaching by helping people write their prompts, or you were ghostwriting for an app-ish?
So, to clarify, when you are in certain apps, there are like VIP perks and packages.
Yeah.
And so part of the VIP perk is you could have a consultant, which is what I would be, who would be, I would write your bio to make sure you sounded like, I would flesh out your bio, like suggest which pictures you should have, tell you what not to have on there. And then as an added bonus, I could also be hired to start conversations. So they would hire me to play them in the chat feature and sort of like vet out who's going to actually get a date. And then and then when the date actually comes, like, obviously the person actually has to date them. But they actually read a transcript. So like they're reading the transcript of what our chat was, and then they go on the date based on the chat that we had. And I have like a list of things I am and am not allowed to talk about. So I can't just make up things about the person.
Right.
So it's like, do you like Italian food? Like, you're like texting the guy, like, do you like Italian food? What Italian food do you like? We're having an Italian food discussion. Like, is that so? Like, you really get to know your clients because you're pretending to be them, like full on.
Wait, did you ever fall for a client?
No. Mostly because they always paired me up with older clients, because I tend to write in full sentences with punctuation, and that is not something that young people do. So I was always paired with somebody who was significantly older than me because I had proper grammar, and that's not a young thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, yeah, I kind of aged myself out.
Oh my God, that's so fun and wild. And what?
Yeah, it's like a real thing. People get paid for it. So whenever you think like, oh, I'm not sure, he's too good to be true, he's not true. It's a woman. It's a girl who's been hired to play him. Just wait. I don't know. I'm just saying it's true.
Do we ever have to be concerned about that on like apps that we're not paying for? Do you think, in your experience?
Yes, because somebody might have hired somebody to be that person for them, and now there's AI. So,
but to be honest, if somebody on an app that I'm not paying for, I'm just gonna say Hinge. If I'm talking to somebody on Hinge. Mm-hmm. And they have booked a consultant, a dating consultant, like that kind of gives me a little bit of hope that like you're really trying to get someone, like you're investing, like, or it's opposite.
That is a really wonderful unicorn way to think of things. It's very unicorn rainbow opinion you have.
I'm typically that way.
I love that.
I try to find the good in all.
Yeah, and I like black like my soul here. So. Yes, that is the case for some people. And I will say to an extent, it is a vetting process to like see who's serious and who's not. But for some people, it is like, I don't have the time. I just want to hook up. So can you see who's the most likely to do that fastest? Because I have like a lunch break. So I just want to meet somebody. Like, can you vet them enough that I know they're not creepy? And like, I'll meet up with them.
Get the fuck out.
Can't make this shit up.
Okay, we have to talk more about this later. What? Okay, wait. Okay, so back to you. You were hesitant about getting on dating apps because of this experience.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to do that, because I'm like, oh, shit, I could be that person. I could be talking to myself and not even like, yeah. So I was hesitant to get on the apps.
I don't blame you.
I did because several of my very good friends who are blissfully normal, though one of my friends, I like to make fun of her because her first date, who did the man who she's now married to with 2 kids, and he's awesome. I love him. But their entire first date was a complete sham because he lied about where he was living, his relationship status, and what he was doing for work. So I'm like, so your entire relationship was based on a lie. You swiped on that guy, and his whole profile was a lie. And she's like, yeah, he did come clean in the first date, but.
Okay, and that person just was probably like, I didn't want to be judged, so I wanted to get in front of someone to be able to tell them the truth? Again, oh my God, that was so positive of me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak on their thing. I think it was.
I'm just saying, like that could be the reason. Like,
yes,
I don't want to be
it could
judged.
be the reason.
Let me get in front of you and then tell you my story.
It could be the reason. He was just in this particular case, and again, I love this man. He's great. He's an awesome father and husband to my friend. I think for him, it was just complicated, and it was like it's just too much freaking complicated.
Facebook status, it's complicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like if you put it's complicated on your status, people aren't going to swipe on that. But
right.
You know, he was in the middle of like getting a divorce; it hadn't like been finalized, and there's all that BS. And so I think
there's
for
always
him,
a story.
For him, for his sake, it was just more like it's just too complicated to explain all this shit, and like let's just see if you're even worth my time before I go explain all my dark secrets. So it made sense in his, but that's what prompted me like, oh, there is hope.
Yeah.
Because even this like super liar still turned out to be a great guy and like marry my friend. So I was like, oh, because all men are liars, so it's fine. But it turned out okay.
So have you had any luck on dating apps?
I've had some fun stories.
Okay. Really give me one.
I had a guy on the very first date. Maybe like 20 minutes into it, like we hadn't been served yet. Said that he asked me if I would be okay if he stayed home with my child and I was the breadwinner because he didn't want to work. And so I'm like at this point, like you're inserting yourself into like being the caretaker.
20 minutes in.
I'm like, well, I barely even told you I had a kid. But okay. And then there was the guy who at the coffee, like we just met for coffee. And before my coffee was cold, I learned all about his last proctology appointment. And how he, yeah, like he felt traumatized by his doctor sticking his finger up his ass, and he was really.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called. And I knew all about it. I could probably tell you the name of the doctor that he was traumatized by. Another one, not most recently, a couple of months ago, I guess, but it's the most like fresh in my head. Lovely, blissfully normally seeming guy.
Okay.
Again, we had not been drinking we were not drinking at the date. We got there, seemed blissfully normal. Had to wait a long time to sit down, which is fine. I'm pretty go with the flow on it. Again, before our meal was done, he had cried at the table. I know all about his high school sweetheart and his ex-wife, his ex-girlfriend, his ex-fiance, who I was reminded him of, even though she had a drug problem. But, and he didn't seem to see any of the red flags of all this thing. Like, oh, I didn't see this coming. And then I learned all about like the trauma around his kids being born and like when the police showed up at the hospital.
Oversharing.
Oh my God. And he asked me all 0.0 questions. And then he went on to this 45-minute long discussion about, and I timed it because at that point I was done. So 45-minute long discussion about the last time he bought his Suburban and like the journey to buy his Suburban. And then he asked me, so what are you into? And at this point I was like, oh, well, you know, I really like Halloween. And like, it was right before Halloween. I was like, oh, I really like Halloween. And like, I really like DIY costumes and like being really creative and such. Cause you know, I used to be a burlesque performer. And so I did a lot of costume making.
Another one.
Yeah. A lot of things. So I was like, yeah, just costumes. Like, oh, what's your favorite costume? And so I pulled out a picture of my favorite costume, which is an exorcist costume, which I acknowledge is an intense costume. But I was pregnant at the time, so the baby, like the belly was underneath this bed. I was like, this whole bed I was carrying around with the whole bar underneath it. It was awesome. And he just looked at it. He was like, oh, okay. No follow-up questions. No, that's cool. No, like interesting.
No, that's crazy.
How'd you choose that one? Oh my God, I'm terrified of you. Like no follow-up questions at all for something as ridiculous as a full exorcist costume with like contacts and like scar makeup and like vomit down. Nothing. A whole bed that I was carting around. Downtown.
Oh my God.
Like on wheels, like caster wheels, like a whole thing. Not even like one follow-up question. I'm like, this date's done. Went on forever. And so like, I'm not saying that you need to be like my brand of crazy, but gentlemen, ask one or two things just as a hint.
Yeah. Just a little something.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know you well, but I would just imagine you to be a little bit better of a vetter. Those sound like stories of my dates. And I'm everyone's fine. It's fine. Well, like I look for the good in everybody. And I just feel like you like this business mindset.
Yeah, you think that.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Not everybody's perfect. So the last guy I just told you about, that was a blind date.
Okay.
Set up by someone I didn't know. So it was like a 2 degrees moved blind date. It's
Okay.
like, oh,
that's a crazy blind date.
yeah, it's like he has the correct appendage, so here's a date.
Okay.
So I think that's how that one got. And the one before that, I will 100% admit it was an attraction swipe. He was hot, and I'm not impervious to the wildest
Yeah.
gentlemen. I'm not impervious to you 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was that. And the one before that, it was completely outside of the box. Like everything else,
checked out.
Everything else checked out. We had all the boxes were ticked, and actually he was not my type at all. And I was like, I purposely went out with him because he wasn't my type. Because I'm like, okay, Amanda, all these people who have been your type, it's not working out. Let's go with something who's decidedly not your type.
Yeah.
And it was not. I think I'm just, I guess I need to work on my vetting process. But then that's the problem, is that if I start to vet, then I make it like a job interview, and then I'm not dating you. I'm like hiring.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that because I will immediately default to business mode. I'm like, oh, you own a business? Tell me about your business. And then I'm like, I care about your business.
That's gotta be hard.
You. So it's,
like you seem like a force.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But like, if you ever, for those of you who've watched Love is Blind,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, which I recommend you put a towel or like a blanket over it and then watch it as a blind person, because it's way more fun. But
did you do that really?
A couple of times. I mean,
obviously, I'm so good,
but it's super fun. But I forget what season it was because I don't keep up with these things. But I was in Thailand watching a season. It's the one who thought she looked like Megan Fox. I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
bless her.
Yeah, bless her heart. Bless her little heart.
You know what though? Like I do think she had similarities.
I saw it. No, I saw what she was going for.
But I just think she shouldn't have said it.
But I think
not because she didn't have similarities, she did. But like, just don't set that scene.
But the
big
point of
scene
it,
to set.
And the point of the whole show is to not talk about physical attributes. So I would have shut that question down right away, because I look like Bubba. No, the point is to not know what you look like, because that completely gave him a false sense. Even if she did, because I totally see it. And then
anyway.
Wow. But the whole idea of whenever somebody would talk about, this is my job here and I do this, and I'm like, oh, like there was that one guy who had own a funeral home. And everyone was like, oh, and I'm like, the first thing I thought was, that is a really, really lucrative business model. Like, that's a great, and I know that would have been what I had said. Like, tell me more about your very lucrative business, because that is, you have a constant stream of clients. There's no, like, people aren't not going to die. So
yeah,
it's a constant, and I would have gone completely off the rails into business world.
Hilarious.
Like,
you would be very entertaining on reality TV. Ever considered it?
No, because I don't have a filter. I'm like, I hate you. This is what I think's wrong with you.
Yeah, that would be so entertaining.
It would be entertaining, actually. But I have a kid now, so I think it would be hard for him to.
Yeah. And also one more thing to add to your plate. We can't do that.
Actually, no.
They wouldn't know what to do under your name for job description. Burlesque dancer, fisherman, yoga instructor. Yeah.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
Translator. All things.
50-year-old gay cardiologist.
Yeah, I was. He was my favorite. He was so funny. Wow. He was actually he was sort of on that cusp, because that particular client, he did want the hookups, but also he just had a really demanding schedule as a cardiologist. So he was like, I just don't have time to weed through all these losers.
Yeah. And there are losers. Trust and believe.
Yeah. And I actually met a guy at a singles night here in Houston. And he kind of gave me shit for he's like, oh, well, you're one of those girls in the dating apps who doesn't respond back. And I'm like, well, you get 1,000 messages the second you sign up. He's like, oh, it must be so nice being pretty. I'm like, no. This isn't about, it was before I'd even posted a picture. They just saw that I was a female and I was fresh meat.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, da, ding, ding.
So true.
It's traumatizing. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's very hard.
Wow. We started with just the tip. And
we
we're
did.
Ending with that. Cute. What's your wine of the week?
This time of year, it's just after New Year's resolutions, and already I'm starting to hear people complain for the results they're not getting for the work they're not doing. I'm like, it's only January. I don't know what day it is. It's like, but it's early in January.
Yeah.
And so one of my, it's always been a pet peeve of mine to be mad for the results you aren't getting for the work you're not doing. If you're going to be all cry, woe is me, victim, like, I want to see the work behind it. Like, show me your notes. Did you actually do any of the work? It's driving me insane. It's been not with my clients specific, because I don't take clients like that, but it's like a overwhelming theme of like, oh, I haven't hit this goal. I haven't done that. And I'm like, well, did you do the work? Did you try? Are you dedicated? Oh, well, this came up. Like, yeah, life's lifing. Yeah. Sorry.
For all of us.
Yeah.
It's like, when Kim Kardashian said it's like no one wants to get up and work anymore.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
I know. It was so true. I had her back when she said that, Yeah. Go Kim K.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on their business? Quickly, we don't have much time left, but the Kardashians, like, I mean, everyone hates on them, whatever, fine. But their business model, I mean, insane.
I mean, there's
every one of them I
wouldn't do, but honestly, spot on. If you have that ability to like capitalize off what you look like and capitalize on your family, yes, they're doing it right. No shame in that game. You know what? If you have a real big issue with that, something they're doing specifically, like, I don't like this specific business or that's fine from a moral standpoint. You can have that feeling, but from a business, like, backdoor looking at it, solid. I mean, there's a lot of choices that they've made that I wouldn't have made, but they're also a lot richer than me, so I don't mind to say anything. Go ahead with your bad self. Go for it.
Same.
Yeah, I think their business model is fantastic. There's a lot of businesses out there that, again, like from a moral standpoint, maybe I would or wouldn't do them, but still solid business model, and they're clearly making bank. So
keep up with it.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Oh my gosh, this was so lovely. So entertaining. An hour flew by.
Good. Bam.
Where can we find you, your consulting services, your podcast, the books?
So basically if you ever manage to type my name in its entirety, you'll find me, because there's not a lot of Ferjuels in the world, and they're either related to me or they are me. So if you happen to be able to Google search me, go ahead, Google search away. I like to be Googled these days, but The Pursuit of Badassery with an IE, you can always find me there on all platforms, and same thing, AF Consulting Team on all platforms.
Okay.
Go for it. That way you don't have to spell out Virgil. It's just AF.
Yeah. Of course, your details will be in the show notes.
Yes.
And I'll be using your contact details.
Let's cuss and discuss.
Do we go get like a coffee or something for our consultation, or is it Zoom? What's the vibe?
Either or. I mean, I usually take Zoom because I take clients all over the world, so it's just easier. That way I don't have to put pants on. We had this discussion. I don't like pants.
Yeah, you did. You were like, is this in person? I'm like, well, it's sweats. You can be in sweats.
No, it's fine. I didn't know originally. I was like, is this a Zoom or is this a real in-person meeting? Because I probably should wear pants if I have to.
Pants.
Plus it's cold today. So.
Or just any bottoms necessary. So cold today.
Yeah, had to be done.
Oh my God. Okay, well, we might have to do this again.
Hey,
this was so fun. Thank you for coming. Thank you for
Thank you.
Calling me out on being an asshole.
Anytime. That's what I do.
And I'm glad you did, because this was such a very just like educational and funny and great conversation.
Thanks. Ditto. Thank you for having such an awesome show and allowing me to be on it.
You're welcome.
It almost didn't happen.
It almost didn't happen, but the timing is everything.
It is.
Meant to be. Okay. Wineers, I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.